front of you, can you have, between the two of you, one of these, a pencil, and you need your EDA ready. At 3-9.
Children are very receptive to new technology. This programme shows what can happen when pupils who just instinctively get gadgets and gizmos
If you draw an O, it needs to know it's an O.
come together with honest teachers.
My ICT skills are very basic.
In one primary school near Bradford.
It is imperative that the boys and girls use the device, demonstrate the device, educate the teachers along the way as well. It might make one or two people uncomfortable, but I think we've got to be big, we've got to be grown up, and we've got to understand that we don't know everything.
This particular gadget is an EDA, or Educational Digital Assistant. It's a small handheld computer which comes preloaded with all sorts of educational activities.
Certainly with the reading, a lot of children have gone up 2 or 3 reading levels since the introduction of the EDAs, which for me is amazing. Some boys especially who would not want to have picked up a book are picking up e-books and sitting reading classic literature, which is a huge improvement. So hopefully, you know, it's from strength to strength, but I think this is the way that education should go.
The thing is, in your book, you do your handwriting, you judge it yourself, but this EDA, if you draw an O, it needs to know it's an O. It can't see it, because it's a computer. Because, like teachers, they get used to what your handwriting looks like and you know what it is. So they don't not used to my handwriting, this EDA, so if I do like that, it's a B.
The Year 4 pupils and teachers at Willesden Primary School have been using the devices on a daily basis for a year.
I went to the BET show to try and find something that was technology-based that would make the difference and try and get that little bit extra from the children and obviously give them greater motivation. And I have to say it was a very persuasive situation where there were boys and girls demonstrating the use of PDAs, handheld computers. And based on that experience, we then decided this was for us.
But the 3-year commitment didn't come cheap. The school needed to raise £30,000. Part of this was covered through grants, but some had to come from parents. The head arranged a presentation evening and invited parents along. He was asking for a monthly contribution of £10.
At that point I could see in my mind's eye parents walking out and general sort of gasps, but there was none of that. And we actually managed to get mandates for direct debits filled in, so I was delighted with that.
The EDAs are physically robust, and they're essentially a combination of a camera, a voice recorder and a basic computer, able to run educational software programs.
Are you ready, Luke, to record? Yeah. Right, Tom, big, nice, clear voice.
In an enormous castle in giant Scotland, there was a giant called the BSG. It stands for Big Smelly Giant.
Right, if we can play back now the recording and then we can hear what you sound like, okay, and then we can make any suggestions of maybe we can change your voice or is there any way you could have done it differently?
In an enormous castle in giant Scotland, there was a giant called the BSG. It stands for Big Smelly Giant.
That sounded very good. It's scary when you have to hear your own voice, isn't it? Yes. What do we think about that?
I thought it was quite good the way I read it, yeah.
Yeah, I think, do you agree with that, Luke?
Yeah, I liked when it said, I don't have baths in bowls.
Well, I tend to take out small groups and we focus on improving their literacy skills and building up their confidence. With the EDAs, they have a chance to record their voices so they can hear how they sound, play it back, listen to see whether they perhaps could use more expression, could they have slowed down. And also it gives them a chance to sit and talk with each other, and in that way it helps with friendship groups as well. The amazing thing for Tom is that he's actually not in the top set for literacy, he's in set 2, whereas the 3 other children who were there are in the top set. So for Tom, it gave him a chance to shine, to show exactly what he is capable of and to impress those around him. And I think they benefit from that exchange of ideas. What I think might be useful, actually, is if you could send that to the other members of this group,
Yeah, I'll do that.
so that we can have a look at it And maybe we could get one of the other members here to read it out as well, and then you can hear what your story sounds like, okay?
Yeah. Can you lot turn your Bluetooth and beam on then? Yeah, mine's all on.
So you're going to send it via Bluetooth?
And beam.
Right.
The pupils take to the technology immediately.
It always amazes me that the children are far more competent and far more confident in it. But I think it also helps them to show that adults don't know everything. They can sit and explain it to me, and also it helps to reinforce their own knowledge of it. So would you like to bring up Tom's story onto the screen? Maybe, Tom, you would like to record what other people say, and then we can perhaps play it back. This is a boy who, when he first came into Year 4, was very shy, very quiet, tended to sit in the background, tended to not put himself forward in any way. Now Tom is the boy who would put his hand up first. He would encourage others to use his EDAs. He's become almost a sort of second teacher.
It helps you learn if you just write it on a piece of paper, but it makes it a fun way to learn and you remember it more.
There's been children, you know, on the SEN register in both classes that have really zoomed using the EDAs. They're, you know, far and above better than other children who are, you know, academically you would think they would be better. So it's been a complete leveller in that way.
It's been a shock, and you've just sat there and just gone, yes, you know, because
yeah.
that child that you thought would not cope with it at all, who has no confidence, who panics at the slightest little thing, put that handheld computer in their hand and it's transformed them into somebody different.
The EDAs can communicate with the whiteboard and vice versa, making instant assessment easy.
I'm going to ask you to log on to my computer, and I'm going to send you a quick quiz. Currently the children are using a quiz which is looking at things we've done during the week or maybe the past fortnight. It's a quick way of assessing exactly what they do know and what they don't know. So I've set them a set of questions, sent it out to them. Their screens will all appear on mine. And when they finish the quiz, we can look back and we look at any child's answers, and we can look at a class list of answers so we can see that perhaps, you know, the class are all struggling on question 14. You know, it might be on capacity, so that the class can see exactly what areas of maths they're getting right and what they need to work on as well. So it's instant assessment. What we're going to look at, calculate 145 minus 83. What kind of question are you doing there? Subtraction. Now, I think, William, you've written 72. What was the answer? 62. So you're just 10 out. It's fantastic for things like geography, for science, for history. They've used them for research purposes.
I wouldn't even think it was an ICT only thing, to be honest. It wouldn't even occur to me now that it is that.
Educational resources stored on the EDAs help personalise learning for every child.
What kind of shape's that?
That one. It's like a top of a cube.
Not quite. Is that a 2D or a 3D shape?
That's a 2D.
2D, what does that mean?
It's flat.
Yeah. So you've got to try and make those fit in?
Yeah.
Is it tricky?
Fairly.
You pick a shape, so if you go on easy, and then you pick a shape what you want, and then you've got shapes, and then you have to put them in to make the shape.
The device's mobility means it can be used outside of the classroom on an educational treasure trail.
Do we think we're going to find Federico? Yeah. Do we think we are going to get Mr. Quartermain's glasses back?
Yeah.
Well, we've gone the wrong way. We need H.
We need to go back.
Oh, it might be on the field. Yeah, on the field. Yeah, we might.
We've got to find all the letters, and we've got to take a picture and write them down on our sheet.
A better,
like a mini
computer.
Drawing. Yeah.
Don't see one of them many days now.
Yeah. K's there, so K's staff room, and then J's group room. So it must be down there.
12, we got them all.
So, the next part is you need to switch your EDA on, ready, okay? And can you bring it to your photograph, my pictures page?
2 years ago when we first got our classes, they did have a little bit of a reputation for poor behaviour. However, I mean, we've had them for 2 years and this year with the EDAs. And in terms of motivation, in terms of behaviour, there is these problems that we saw early on have virtually disappeared really, and that's because of the responsibility they've had to undertake, the maturity of having to take this thing home with them every day, bring it back, charge it. It's given them something of their own that they can be very proud of, and that's been really good for all the children.
OK, Emily, have you got your diary? We'll have a look at the diary first and see if you've got anything in there from the teacher. Just have a little look. Right, OK, no, nothing in today, have you? Right, we'll just have a look at your reading journal. Let's have a look. You've done some reading today.
Yeah.
Right, and she's asked you to do some tonight then for tomorrow, a few pages. So what we'll do is first then, I think we'll do your... Have you got anything on your EDA that you've done at school that you can show me first? Then we'll do that later.
Yeah, we did the orienteering. I've got some pictures.
OK, right, let's have a look at that then first. I think it's so nice for a parent when your child comes home and you can actually see what they've done at school. And Emily's actually teaches me things that I didn't know. Anything else on there today? Then have you got your spellings on there for today or not?
Yeah, I've got some spellings.
OK, let's have a look
I'll
at
show you
those.
them.
Right. Gosh, you've got quite a lot there, haven't you?
Yeah.
We'll have to practice those then, won't we?
Yeah.
The first thing that a lot of parents were concerned about was the fact that the traditional methods of learning was going to be overtaken by the EDA. But to be honest, it's actually worked very well alongside the methods of learning, that because she's finding it fun to do, I think she's learned a lot more and she's picked up things a lot quicker than perhaps she would have done in the normal ways of teaching. And her computer skills are just absolutely fantastic.
Enough evidence, much of it anecdotal I would admit, suggests that it's been a very positive experience for the children. And so based on that, we've decided that we would go for a further year, and so we're in the process of setting up the second part of the project for the next year.
In preparation to receive the experienced Year 4 pupils, their teachers have offered to have a training session with the novice Year 5 teachers.
I was thinking of where you might use them in a lesson.
Well, I was about to say, where have you used them most?
Well, this morning we used a text, and every single child had the text on their screen, and we read it together, and they highlighted words on the text. It's not get rid of your exercise book at all. It's just a different way of looking at text. But they were highlighting words, they were going straight through to the dictionary. If they couldn't get the word on that actual dictionary on the machine,
Our expectations are still around being able to write on paper, report on paper, to record on paper, absolutely vital. But what we do is provide a device which enhances their learning opportunities. But it has a place, but it certainly does not overtake the whole learning process.
I think it's important to stress you've got to be positive about undertaking a project like this for it to work. I don't think it would work if you didn't want to do it.
But you don't have to be brilliant.
But you don't have to be ICT
You don't
literate.
at all.
No.